the Oumier Armadillo RDA. Let's have a look. Hey guys, Vick here, back with another review. Today we are looking at this, the Armadillo RDA from Oumier and Dimi Crazy Damper. Is a European vape reviewer who's collaborated with Oumier to design this RDA. Oumier, if you've forgotten, are the people that did the Wasp Nano. That's probably their biggest triumph, the Wasp Nano RDA. This is their latest thing. This is their new RDA. 24mm wide, dual coil, goon tips, bottom feeding and non-bottom feeding. It's got a very unique deck layout as well. I'll show you that down low. Comes in 3 colours. Comes in this matte silver, they're calling it, which is kind of like a very grey style design. They've got a black one as well and a gold one, I believe, as well. So 3 colours available, 24mm wide, adjustable airflow, dual coil RDA. What we'll do is we will fly down low. I'll show you this. I'll give you a proper good look at the deck, then I'll put a build in it and show you that as well. Show you this interesting deck layout. Then we'll come back up top for pros and cons. See you in a sec. Okay guys, here we are down low with the Armadillo by Oumier. Oumier, whatever. The people that made the Wasp. This is the Armadillo RDA. This is the box, the packaging, all that good stuff. You'll see down here, designed by Oumier and Dimi Crazy Damper, who is a European vape reviewer. There we go, that's the packaging. Comes with everything you would expect. Comes with squonk pin, a bit of cotton, some coils, all that good stuff. So that's happy days. This is the RDA. This is it. This is the matte silver one. That's what they're calling it. 3 colours available. 24mm wide. It's about 23mm tall. It's quite goonish in its dimensions. Has a 810 goon tip as well. There's the 510 pin, Armadillo. There. Yep, you can change it into a bottom feeding pin if you want, and it squonks very well. And you've got your adjustable airflow here. You've got a drawing of an armadillo on there, not sure about that, but that's what they've got. So dual airflow, so dual coil RDA. Certainly wouldn't recommend this with single coil. To adjust the airflow, you grab this knurled bit here, and it's just your sort of traditional slots like that, and that's on both sides. If you go like this, you open it up, and I suppose the uniquest thing about this RDA is its deck. It has this deck system. I guess it's a little bit Armadillo-esque, hence the name. I'm assuming there. So what you've got here is 6 post holes, dual coil system, nice deep juice airflow, nice deep juice well, I should say, and very traditional side-on cycloptic airflow. The thinking behind this deck is that if you've got a small coil, you could just pop it up here, there to there, or medium coil there to there, or a big coil there to there. Now, that's true, that's a thing. The dimensions aren't perfect though. If you look at this, it's a very high to low. You know, a traditional 3mm coil, you'd want a hole there, and maybe there. So it's a little bit of a compromise, but it does perform that function of allowing you to have different sized coils. The other thing as well, if you look, it's very one-sided. So your coil is going to sit from here to here, which is not in the middle of the RDA. And I do recommend being careful about that. If you look at the top cap again, if you start closing your airflow, when you put your cap on, it needs to go in these grooves. So that's not a choice. And when you start closing it down, you want to make sure that you've put your air holes on the side that you've built it, and that will keep it nice and direct. That's perfectly direct like that. But if you do the airflow the other way around, then it won't be. So do be aware that you are building slightly to one side and then slightly to one side. So do be conscious of that when building it. Because that is a thing. But yeah, the RDA top cap goes in those grooves, and that allows you to adjust the airflow without any problems. And there you go, nice deep juice well, coils going like that. I'm going to use top and bottom Even though it's a medium-ish coil I'm putting in, I'm going to use top and bottom because I think it'll be the most comfortable. The other thing I want to point out is the flathead screws. Very, very small fiddly flathead screws on here. That's a slight negative in my opinion. I wish they were grub screws. These are just going to strip, and they're very fiddly to get purchase on and get tight. When you're using a small flathead screwdriver, it does get fiddly. I would have preferred grub screws on there, but there we go. So there we go. That is it. Let's build it up, and I'll show you again all built up. Okay guys, this is what it looks like all built and wicked up. I've put one lead down right at the bottom, one lead right at the top. It was just the easiest fit. You can just do it whichever way suits whatever coil you're doing. If you're doing a tiny coil, use the top holes. If you're using a big one, obviously use the top and bottom. It is what it is, you know. You can find a way to fit it in for you. No issue with wicking, no issue with squonking, all that good stuff. I wish they weren't flathead screws along here, I've got to say that. I wish they were Allen key, you know, grub screws. They're just going to strip over time. They're very fiddly, very small, and you don't get much purchase on them. So there is that. I don't love the deck overall, you know, but it does certainly do a job. One nice thing with it is when you drip, it hits this top section here and disperses nicely around. Also squonks very well. But this is what it looks like all built up. If we put the cap on, cap goes into these grooves, as we've said, and there it is. That's how I like my airflow, nice and halved. You can adjust that by turning this knurled bit here, and there we go. That is the Armadillo all built up, all wicked up. Let's go up top. Okay guys, that was the Armadillo RDA by Oumier. Very, very interesting RDA in terms of its deck. The outside of the RDA is all fairly standard traditional stuff. 24mm wide, dual coil, cycloptic, adjustable airflow, goon tips. It's a very traditional RDA in a lot of ways. It's very similar to, say, the Goon 24 version, you know, any of those sort of RDAs of recent times. The coils sit nice and low. You can line them up perfectly with your airflow. You can get direct air. So in a lot of ways it's a very traditional RDA. The unique bit is the deck. It's got this 6-hole rounded deck section. I guess it looks a little bit like an armadillo, hence the name. And that is quite a unique thing. That is its one big unique thing really, the deck. The advantage of the deck is you can very comfortably, without bending any leads, put in different size coils. If you only want to put a little coil in, just use the top 2 holes. If you want to put a really big coil in, use the top and bottom holes, you know. So you can do different things with this deck. It does come with a few little caveats though, you know. One aspect is, like I showed you down low, the coil needs to move. Unless you want to start bending leads and start putting zigzags in your leads and things like that, you do need to put it over to the right or the left. The one thing I would say with that is do make sure you're doing it on the same side that you're slanting your airflow. When you close the airflow, it does move over to the side, so make sure you're moving the airflow over to the same side as the coil. Definitely something to be aware of. The coils actually, because the airflow is actually quite low once you get it all together, do be aware that you want your coils quite low as well. You know, it's nothing like a dead rabbit style deck where the coils are right on top, they're back down like they used to be all the time. So yeah, the deck, I'm not massively sold on the deck. I don't think it brings enough to the table for what it is. I really don't like the screws that are used on the deck. Flathead screws, tiny little flathead screws. They're very fiddly to get tight and get good purchase on, and I can see them sort of slowly getting stripped as well. They've already started, you know, to warp a little bit, the screws. So that's a tiny little thing as well. I put a picture on Instagram, as I always do. Check me out on Instagram at vapingv1ck. Quite a few people, it was a really mixed bag on looks. Some people liked the look, they liked the little stencil outline design. A lot of people said it'd be better without that, and they weren't super chuffed with the looks. That's obviously subjective, that's obviously down to you, but it's definitely worth mentioning. And the other thing I will point out as well is they don't have a traditional stainless steel style top cap. There's no traditional stainless steel top cap. The only option along those lines is this grey matte silver finish, so do be aware of that as well. There isn't that available currently, so that is a thing. Beyond that, it's a very solid RDA. There's a few little niggles there to point out, but beyond that, it's a very solid RDA. I like the groove system here. You can get it on and off the mod very well. It squonks very well. This deck design does lend itself to dripping as well, because when it hits that big bar, it does disperse nicely around the RDA. Nice deep juice wells, goon fitting tips, no major issues in any major department. It's a very solid, good RDA. Just a few little niggles really. I don't think the deck is a game changer. I don't think you're suddenly going to see a bunch of RDAs and RTAs with Armadillo style decks. I don't think it's a complete game changer, but nonetheless it's a very solid RDA. Good flavour, good clouds. The airflow is nice and smooth. It's very direct to the coil. All that is good. Vape's very nice. It's a very solid RDA. If you like what you see down low and up top, then I would have no hesitations in you just going out and getting this thing. If you're a fan of Dimi or you're a fan of Oumier, jump on it by all means. A very solid, well made, affordable 24mm RDA. I don't know, maybe you've seen something in the deck, maybe you really detest flathead screws. I don't know. Let me know if there's a reason you're not going to pick this up in the comments. Let me know what you think in general in the comments. But overall, I think it's a very solid RDA with a few quirks, but I'm enjoying using it. I think it's very good. Good job, Dimi. Good job, Oumier. Overall, I'm going to give it 1 thumbs up. I think it's pretty good RDA. So there we go. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.